Right. So today we're diving deep into, well, this is a big one.
Yeah.
Elon Musk.
Huge.
You know the name, you have the companies Tesla, SpaceX, now X, uh, formerly Twitter, of course.
Right, right.
And currently, he's a senior advisor to President Trump. So,
Yeah, wow.
pretty big deal. And also, this is interesting, kind of heading up the Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE.
DOGE, yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, it's quite a portfolio he's got going on.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Sure.
And also, I mean, just to put this all in perspective, like as of March 2025,
Mm-hmm.
Forbes estimated his net worth to be about $345 billion.
Yeah, I saw that.
Making him, the wealthiest person.
Yeah, globally.
It's globally. Yeah.
Wild.
Wild. And Time Magazine named him Person of the Year back in 2021.
Yeah, well deserved. I mean,
So, I think it's
yeah.
a bit important to look at, like, how did we get here?
Yeah, absolutely. Unpack it
Yeah, unpack it.
from the beginning.
Yeah. So let's start, at the beginning.
Okay.
Born in Pretoria, South Africa,
Mhm.
June 28th, 1971,
Got it.
to Errol and May Musk.
Okay.
And there's this whole thing about the family being wealthy, like
The Emerald Mine story?
the Emerald Mine, right? Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's interesting because I think there's a bit of,
Oh, yeah.
a shift in the narrative that's happened over time.
What do you mean?
So, there were stories early on
Oh, yeah.
from both Elon and his father, Errol, that,
Right.
suggested Errol was a part owner of this emerald mine in Zambia, right?
Right.
But then later, Errol kind of clarified that he actually received a share of emeralds from like several smaller mines,
Oh, so, okay.
but not like, full ownership.
Okay, not this abrupt.
Yeah, this massive, like, family fortune from a single mine. It was more like a network of smaller operations.
Interesting. So, it's like,
Yeah, it's interesting how even those early family histories can
Oh, yeah.
kind of have evolving details.
oh, for sure. And so his parents divorced in 1980,
Okay.
and he made the decision to live with his father,
Mm-hmm.
which, he said later, like,
Right.
he kind of regretted that. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. And it's made their relationship kind of strained over the years.
Okay.
He even, like, described his time at a wilderness school
Oh, wow.
as, like, a paramilitary Lord of the Flies type of,
Intense.
yeah,
Yeah.
intense environment.
It sounds like those early experiences really, kind of shaped him
Oh, yeah.
in ways like he's talked about bullying, even a serious assault
Oh,
that
wow.
landed him in the hospital.
Oh, but
Yeah, but even amidst like, all of that, he really had this intellectual curiosity that started to like develop. He was a huge reader, like
yeah.
big into the Lord of the Rings, the Foundation series, the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Yeah, right. Classic sci-fi.
Yeah, and you can see like how that's influenced his thinking and his outlook.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Definitely.
And he wasn't just reading, like,
Right.
by age 10, he's teaching himself programming
Wow.
from, like, a VC-20 manual, which is, like, insane.
Dedicated, yeah.
Yeah. And then at 12,
Mm-hmm.
he sells his basic-based video game, Blaster,
Star, yeah.
to a magazine for, like, $500.
What? It's amazing.
I know, like 12 years old,
Yeah.
Entrepreneurial spirit already.
Yeah, that early immersion in technology is it's a pretty clear sign of,
Right.
what was to come.
Yeah, totally. And then, so he went to a few schools in South Africa, Waterkloof House Preparatory, Bryanston High School, and Pretoria Boys High School.
Hmm.
And, it seems like he was a capable student,
Yeah.
but, like, not necessarily exceptional, across the board.
Right.
Like, he was good at math, but, just got by in Africans.
Right. Yeah, I mean, everyone's got their strengths.
Exactly.
And weaknesses.
Yeah, so then comes, like, Dib moved to North America.
Okay, yeah.
So to avoid mandatory military service in South Africa,
Right.
and to make it easier to eventually immigrate to the U.S., he applied for a Canadian passport through his Canadian-born mother.
Okay.
And he even, like, spent some time, like 5 months or so at the University of Pretoria, just, like, waiting for his application to go through.
Yeah, that's interesting. That kind of interim period shows his like strategic approach.
I
Even
think
at that age, he was thinking ahead, like
Yeah.
Canada as a stepping stone to get to the U.S.
Exactly. And,
Yeah.
and so he took this, like, really long bus journey
Wow.
and settled in a smaller town.
Yeah.
And he did all sorts of like manual labor jobs, like farm work, worked in a lumber mill boiler room.
Wow. So he really, like, got
Yeah.
his hands dirty.
Yeah, totally. Before eventually enrolling at Queen's University in Ontario in 1989. Yeah. And his academic journey didn't stop there. Like, he later transferred to the University of Pennsylvania
Oh, wow.
and earned bachelor's degrees in both arts and science.
Impressive.
Yeah. And then this is so interesting. Like, he got accepted into Stanford for a graduate program in material science engineering.
In 95, right?
Yeah, in 1995. But he famously didn't go.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of a pivotal moment.
Oh, totally.
Because it really shows his, like, inclination towards, entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
Like, he was ready to jump into the business world.
Right. Yeah. And by that point, he'd already co-founded his first company, Zip2, with his brother Kimball and Greg Curry.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And his father helped fund it.
Yeah, and I think the key takeaway there is, like, Musk's early recognition of, like, the power of the internet.
Oh, yeah.
To disrupt, traditional media.
Totally. And we see that,
Again and again.
Again and again, yeah.
Throughout his career.
So Zip2, just to kind of like explain for anyone who's not familiar, like, they were a web software company, and they were focused on creating online city guides for the newspaper industry.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, like it's like
an early,
Yeah.
precursor to things like Yelp or Google Maps.
Yeah, totally. Like with integrated maps, directions, yellow pages, all that stuff.
Seems almost quaint now when you
Oh yeah.
think about it.
Yeah, totally.
Like a relic of the early internet.
Yeah, but it was significant, at the time.
Oh, absolutely.
A major player.
Yeah.
In that early online landscape.
Yeah, and then in 1999, he co-founded X.com, which was an online payment company.
Yeah.
And this is really where, like, things start to, like,
Pick up speed.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because X.com eventually merged with Confinity.
Right.
And became PayPal.
PayPal,
Which,
which everyone knows.
Everyone knows. And was acquired by eBay in 2002.
Yeah, huge moment. And that same year, he became a U.S. citizen.
Oh, okay.
Which, kind of set the stage for his next, like, really big ambition.
That was
2002. SpaceX.
SpaceX, wow.
Yeah, and he became the CEO and chief engineer.
Yeah, so this wasn't just another,
Oh, no.
internet company. This was
Totally different.
about space, like,
Yeah.
changing space flight.
Yeah, with stuff like reusable rockets.
Right, reusable rockets, which is, like,
Huge.
a huge innovation. Yeah, and then later, Starlink.
Yeah.
This satellite internet constellation.
Yeah, to provide global internet coverage, like especially in remote areas and, underserved regions.
Yeah, super ambitious.
Oh, totally. It's like
Yeah.
a giant leap, no pun intended.
Okay.
And then in 2004, he became an early investor in Tesla.
Tesla.
And by 2008, he was CEO and product architect.
Wow, so he was there from,
Yeah.
relatively early on.
Yeah, and we've seen Tesla just, like, explode, right? From the Roadster to the Model S, the X, 3Y, and, the Cybertruck, which
Everyone's talking about.
everyone's talking about, yeah.
And what's really interesting about Tesla is, like, it's just, like, completely disrupted
Oh, yeah.
the automotive industry.
It's not just electric vehicles. Like, they've got these massive gigafactories.
Yeah, the scale is
The scale is insane.
unprecedented.
To streamline, like, battery and vehicle production.
Yeah, vertically integrated, like, everything's done in-house.
Yeah, it's wild, and, the stock has done incredibly well.
Oh, yeah.
It reached a $1 trillion market cap in 2021.
But of course, not without its bumps along the way.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there was
volatility.
Yeah, volatility, like, the whole funding secured tweet situation.
Oh, yeah, right. But
Yeah, stepping down as chairman
yeah, in 2020
as part of that SEC settlement.
Right. But even before, like, fully committing to Tesla, he was really instrumental in Solar City.
Oh, right, yeah.
Like providing the initial concept and financial backing for his cousin's solar power systems company back in 2006.
Okay, so that was, like, even before Tesla really took off.
Yeah, and then that later became integrated into Tesla as Tesla Energy.
Right, yeah.
So it's like, he's got this, like, broader vision, like, beyond transportation.
Yeah, thinking about, like, sustainable energy solutions.
Yeah, totally. And the Gigafactory in Buffalo is a big part of that.
Okay, so, we've got SpaceX, Tesla, Solar City.
Right.
And then there's Neuralink.
Right.
co-founded in 2016. This is where things get
crazy.
Yeah, crazy ambitious.
Like the goal is to create a direct interface between the human brain and AI.
Yeah, I mean,
That's wild.
it's incredible, the potential, right?
Right.
Like, implantable brain-computer interfaces to treat neurological disorders, but also potentially enhance human capabilities.
Yeah, it's mind-blowing.
It really is.
But of course, it's not without, challenges, like ethical concerns.
Right, ethical concerns and also like practical hurdles.
Yeah, they're still in
They're in clinical trials.
political trials, right? And there's been controversy around the animal testing at UC Davis.
Yeah, I remember reading about that.
Yeah, and then so on top of all of that,
Mm-hmm.
he founds the Boring Company in 2017.
The Boring Company, that's right.
Focused on tunneling technology.
Yeah, with the goal of like alleviating traffic congestion.
Yeah, like the Loop system in Las Vegas.
Yeah, creating underground transportation networks.
Crazy.
Yeah, I mean the overall impact is still, up for debate, I think. Like it's a cool idea, but there's a lot of, logistical complexities.
Yeah, and they've had some abandoned projects along the way.
Right.
Yeah.
And then there's Twitter.
Twitter, yeah.
Yeah.
Or X, I should
X, right? Which he acquired in 2022 for a whopping $44 billion.
Yeah, I mean, that
It's
was
huge. Huge news, and arguably like one of his most, publicly scrutinized moves.
Oh, yeah.
Like everyone was talking about it.
Yeah, and the changes he made were,
Drastic.
Yeah, subscription services for verification, major layoffs, shifts in content moderation policies.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people were concerned about,
Right.
the increase in hate speech on the platform.
Right, and then he released, those internal communications about the Hunter Biden laptop situation.
Right, yeah, which, stirred up a lot of controversy.
Yeah, a debate, yeah. And eventually, he did step down as CEO.
Right.
But and beyond these, these major companies, he's been involved in so many other things.
Like what?
Like Hyperloop.
Oh yeah, Hyperloop.
This high-speed transportation concept.
Super high speed.
Yeah, he unveiled it in 2013.
Yeah, and then there's the AI stuff.
Oh, right, AI. So he co-founded OpenAI in 2015.
Right, with that focus on like safe AI development.
Yeah, but then he left in 2018.
Yeah.
And more recently, in 2023, he launched XAI.
XAI, right, to compete in the generative AI space.
It's crazy, like the breadth of his involvement across,
They're remarkable.
all these different sectors.
Yeah, the guy doesn't sleep.
He doesn't sleep, yeah. And he also owns a private jet.
Of course he does.
Of course, right?
Yeah.
So, let's shift gears a little bit and talk about politics.
Okay.
Because he's really an outlier
Yeah.
among business leaders in terms of like his willingness to engage in like partisan politics.
He's not afraid to
He's not afraid to like say what he thinks.
make his views known.
Yeah, yeah. And so historically, his political donations have gone to both Democrats and Republicans,
Right.
especially in states where his companies operate.
Makes sense.
Yeah, but since 2022, there's been a noticeable shift. Like,
With the Republican.
yeah, and people have described his views as leaning more towards the right.
Right. Yeah.
And he's supported a whole range of candidates over the years, like from Obama to Trump, even like Andrew Yang and Kanye West at some point.
Yeah, that's quite a spectrum.
It's he's all over the place. But and he's been vocal about policies he doesn't like, policies he does like.
Right. So it's a complex,
It's very complex.
devolving political stance.
Yeah, and one of the most interesting things is his appointment as senior advisor to President Trump back in January 2025.
Right.
And then his role as the de facto head of DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency.
Yeah, that was a big one.
It's crazy, like this brand new entity created by executive order, and
It's unprecedented.
total, and it puts him in this like really powerful position within the executive branch.
Right. And the inauguration ceremony itself had some controversy.
It's a salute.
The salute. Yeah. What was that about?
It was yeah, nobody really knows. But DOGE is it's a fascinating situation. Like, created by executive order, Musk is designated as a special government employee.
Right.
But initially the White House downplayed his authority.
But then Trump himself.
Trump was like, no, he's in charge.
Yeah, like publicly said.
Publicly. And then a federal judge even ruled that, like, recognizing him as the de facto leader.
Wow.
which raises all sorts of questions about, like, potential unconstitutional actions,
Yeah.
especially after, like, the whole U.S. aid closure.
Right. I mean, this blurring of lines between like
Oh, yeah.
private sector power and government authority it's a big deal.
A huge deal, yeah. And then, like, he told federal employees to, like, document all their work,
Or what?
or they might be fired.
Wow. So he's really,
He's involved, yeah.
yeah, exerting his influence.
And, he also doesn't shy away from sharing his thoughts on, like, international affairs.
Oh, yeah. He's got opinions on everything.
Everything, right? Like,
Yeah.
he's criticized Israel's actions in Gaza.
Right.
He's praised China's economic and climate objectives.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's even offered suggestions for, like, resolving the China-Taiwan situation.
Which is a, you know,
Extremely complex.
complex issue. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's reportedly close with the Chinese government.
Okay.
And then in Europe, like, while he's expressed support for Ukraine,
Mm-hmm.
he's also backed certain far-right figures and parties.
Yeah, which has drawn criticism from, you know,
Oh, yeah.
leaders like Macron and Schultz.
Yeah, and he's made controversial comments about UK riots and,
Right. Support.
supporting far-right activists there.
Yeah. He's not afraid of controversy, that's for sure.
Not at all. And, speaking of controversy, we got to talk about the legal stuff.
Okay.
Like the 2018 SEC lawsuit.
The funding secured tweet?
Yeah,
That was a big one.
huge. And it led to, like, a big settlement.
Yeah, big fines.
Fines for him, fines for Tesla.
He had to step down as chairman for 3 years.
Yeah, but then there was a shareholder lawsuit about the same tweets.
Right.
And he was found not liable. Yeah. So, up and down. And then more recently in 2023, the SEC sued him again.
This time about.
His acquisition of Twitter stock.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and that's still ongoing.
Right.
And then there's the ruling in January 2024,
What was that about?
his massive Tesla pay package.
Oh, yeah, the 55 billion?
$55 billion. Yeah, that had to be rescinded.
Wow. So
Legal
yeah,
battles.
Legal battles.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about his personal life.
Okay.
He became a U.S. citizen in 2002,
Mm-hmm.
and then he moved to Texas in late 2020.
Oh, why Texas?
He said he was concerned about California's complacency.
Okay.
And then in 2021, he publicly stated that he has Asperger's syndrome.
Right.
And he's been pretty open about some of his health stuff. He's talked about back pain,
Yeah.
surgeries. He got a really bad case of malaria at one point.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And he's even said that he uses doctor-prescribed ketamine for depression.
Okay.
And there have been some recent media reports about other drug use.
Right, but he hasn't, like,
It hasn't, like, confirmed or denied any of that.
yeah.
Yeah. And then there's, his family life. He's got 14 kids
14 kids. Wow.
with, a few different partners, Justine Wilson, Tallulah Riley, Grimes, and Siobhan Zillis.
Right, right.
Sadly, one of his children with Justine Wilson passed away as an infant.
Oh,
Right. Yeah, and one of his adult twins with Wilson, she's come out as a trans woman and legally changed her name, and she's said she wants to distance herself from him.
right.
And then of course everyone was talking about the unique names he gave his children with Grimes.
Yeah, the whole.
It was the whole thing.
Yeah, it was a whole thing.
And his rise to wealth has been, like, unbelievable.
Yeah.
Like, he first appeared on the Forbes billionaires list in 2012,
Mm-hmm.
and then just, like, shot up to the top.
The wealthiest person in the world.
And by December 2024, his net worth was like $400 billion.
It's
It's crazy, though. A lot of that is tied to Tesla stock.
right, so it can fluctuate.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And he also started the Musk Foundation back in 2001,
Oh, right.
which, focuses on things like renewable energy, space exploration, pediatrics, safe AI development.
Yeah, noble causes.
Yeah, and it's grown a lot over time,
Mm,
but there's been some criticism about, how much they actually give.
right, relative to
Yeah, relative to the
the
size.
size of the foundation.
And also how that money's being used.
Like the whole thing about the World Hunger Pledge.
Yeah, right. Like, where's that money going?
Yeah, there's been questions about that.
Yeah. And then, finally, if we got to talk about, like, his public image.
Oh, yeah, he's quite the character.
He's a character. Yeah, like, he's eccentric,
Definitely,
polarizing,
for sure.
known for, like, making these huge decisions.
Yeah,
but also saying these like really controversial things.
Yeah, and it seems like he kind of cultivates this persona, like part philosopher, part troll.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And some people have even called him like an American oligarch.
Right. And during Trump's second term, like people were joking that he was like the co-president
Because of his influence.
because of his influence. Yeah. But, despite all the controversy, he's also received a ton of awards.
Right, like from
Aerospace organizations, universities, academies.
Yeah, and Time Person of the Year in 2021.
Yeah. And his influence has even like gone into popular culture.
Oh, yeah.
Like he was reportedly like an inspiration for Tony Stark and Iron Man.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, and he's made cameos in a bunch of like movies and TV shows.
He's everywhere.
He's everywhere. Yeah. So I mean,
it's undeniable. Like his impact on technology, business, politics, culture, it's huge.
That's massive. Yeah.
It's massive.
So, I think like as we wrap up this deep dive into Elon Musk, it's clear that he's an incredibly impactful and complex figure.
Yeah, for sure.
He's like reshaped industries, pushed the boundaries of technology, and now he's like right there in the U.S. government.
It's a unique situation.
It's a unique situation, yeah. And I think, it brings us to this question for you, the listener. What are the potential long-term ramifications of this?
Of someone like him.
Of someone like him, yeah.
With so much power and influence.
Yeah, operating at the intersection of, like, cutting-edge technology, global business, and government authority.
I mean, what does that mean for,
the future.
Yeah, for the future of innovation.
For society.
How our society is structured.
Yeah, and the trajectory of the world. Like
it's a lot to think about.
It's a lot to think about.
There really is.
It's a multifaceted picture, and, we're still figuring it all out.
Yeah, we're living through it.
Yeah.
It's a wild time.
It's a wild time.
For sure.